Hey everyone, it's C4Sages back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of my impressions of Stellar Blade. This has been a game I have been looking forward to since it was first announced. Just based on like initial sort of like character design and stuff like that, it very much reminded me of like a Bayonetta, sort of like Nier sort of vibes. There was a lot of questions about the combat and things like that. Is it going to be a Devil May Cry sort of thing where it's like very free-flowing action, or maybe even like a Ninja Gaiden or like a Bayonetta or a Nier? Is it going to play anything like that? And surprisingly, as I was playing through the demo, which we're going to talk about my feelings about the demo in a moment, I did not know that this game was Souls-like. As I was playing through it, there are moments throughout the demo where there are these quote-unquote bonfires, which is, you know, originated from Dark Souls, places where you can rest and sort of like manage your inventory and your skills and things like that. There's also a really nice little jukebox. It's kind of a jukebox, not really, but I thought that was really cool. I'm sort of going all over the place right now, but kind of bear with me because there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of things that I really enjoyed about this demo. But before we get into the rest of the video, if you've been enjoying my content lately, please don't forget to leave a like. Let me know in the comments below how you felt about the demo or how you're feeling about Stellar Blade. And again, if you want to see more of these videos, don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to like. I really want us to get close to that 1,000 mark. Those 1,000 subs are within my grasp, so I would really appreciate it. Anyways, yeah, this demo was great, everyone. I had such a good time. I went into this thing thinking that I was going to spend about an hour, play the game, sort of give my impressions, and then move on to whatever else I was going to do after. And surprisingly, the game kept me for roughly 5 hours. And I think the thing that captivated me the most was probably the gameplay. The gameplay was so much fun. And it's not like the gameplay is anything like genre-defying or anything that we haven't seen in previous games like Sekiro or things like that. But I think it's the way that the combat is sort of presented in terms of how it looks, how it animates. Everything feels really impactful, and I think that's something that I didn't think I was gonna like so much from this game. The way Eve, the main character of the game, sort of animates when she's slashing the Nightibas, it's just so cool. It's really sort of hard to put in just a very, you know, without putting it into simple terms. It's just really cool. I do understand that there's some people who are having some discord about the game and how it feels, and you know, there's some people who don't really like, you know, oh, they're just doing the whole parry system and I have to guess what I have to do next and stuff like that. I think with any game, you're either gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. You're gonna love it or hate it, right? There are some games that are not for me that some people really enjoy. I think of games like Baldur's Gate 3, which was Game of the Year for a lot of people last year. And I have no hate against Baldur's Gate, but I can acknowledge that that type of game is not for me. Same way how some people may not really enjoy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or something like that. There's always going to be complaints, and that's okay. You know, that it's okay to have opinions about that stuff. But what I think is important to mention here is that this game is not Devil May Cry. It's not Nier. It's not Bayonetta. It's none of those games. And clearly it takes inspirations from those games. I think definitely Stellar Blade takes a lot of inspiration from a game like the Nier series, notably Nier Automata, in terms of the character designs, the level design. There's tons of inspiration. You have this little robot following you around who's being controlled by Adam, who is Eve's sort of like comms person, and they have like sort of like a friendly relationship. Though we don't know much about the characters, obviously, from the demo. We will find out more as the game releases. But yeah, the gameplay was just so much fun, and what I really liked about the demo was that after you beat sort of like the small short story mode, you get access to a boss challenge, which gives you a whole bunch of stuff. They actually give you so much you can try and you can use, and to me the game really opens up. And I just had a blast doing the boss challenge. It was just so much fun trying to figure out, if I parry this, can I do this? Can I do that? it's not just strictly, you know, all right, I have to guess here, I have to guess there. No, there's ways where you can really customize the combat, and you can really sort of control the momentum, which I really liked. I like the fact that there are times where I can't control the momentum. I have to try something else in it. I don't know, it makes it feel like I'm almost playing like an anime, right? Like I'm actually participating in an anime episode or something like that. And yeah, it really does remind me of Sekiro, and Sekiro was so much fun because of the parry system, because enemies were really challenging at times, and you really had to guess. But this game, I would say, is probably not. It's either on par with Sekiro in terms of difficulty. I think some people coming into it might have some trouble with it, but there is at least a difficulty mode. It's not like Sekiro where it's like, all right, you just go in and you just got to figure it out like most FromSoft games are. This one, you know, you can either focus on the story, where the enemies do less damage, or maybe they do less moves. Maybe it's easier to stagger them and stuff like that. But my point is, I appreciate that there's options to the game. And, yeah, I mean, story-wise, I think it was pretty serviceable. You know, I think the characters didn't feel as sort of quote-unquote dead from the initial sort of trailers and stuff. I was really waiting to see if the characters are important. And I think that's really important for a game like this. You really need the characters to have meaning. You want your characters to... You want the players to actually give a shit about the characters. And, yeah, that's like the one question I have right now. How's the story going to pan out? How are the characters? Are they going to be meaningful? Are they going to be memorable? And that's the one thing right now that I saw a little bit of in the demo, and I definitely want to see more of. But definitely the thing that stood out to me the most was 100% the combat. And there were so many just cool things, these little surprises that I really enjoyed about the combat. All of these, like, when you're discovering new combos and stuff like that. I'm talking a lot about the combo system because, again, I think that's where this game shines the most, at least the demo, in my opinion. Movement-wise, you know, it could be a little bit faster, in my opinion. I think even canceling moves can be a little bit better. So if you're someone who maybe hasn't played the game yet and you're kind of, like, on the fence about it, and maybe you're someone who's played the Souls games and stuff like that, there is some input delay between moves, so it's not like you could just slash and then cancel into something else. I think you can do it, but it could be a little bit slow. So my hope is that the devs maybe just increase the speed a little bit of attacks. Maybe that's something you can unlock as you know, progress through the game and stuff like that, because there is kind of like a gear system. Think of it as like, you know, you can equip certain buffs to Eve and things like that. And she has, you know, there's some buffs that gives her more critical damage, gives her more health, more damage to her weapon, you know, things like that. So I really liked how customizable the experience was as well. I gotta tell you guys, I wasn't expecting this game to be as fun as it is, but I had so much fun with it, and I was having a really hard time trying to transition to the next game that I wanted to stream that night, because it was just so much fun. I mean, the last time I had this much fun with like this type of game was Lies of P, and I gotta tell you, Lies of P was really, really good. It was in my top 5 favorite games of 2023, which, as y'all know, 2023 was a enormous year for video game releases. And it was a great demo. Prior to Lies of P coming out, I played the demo and I really enjoyed it. I was shocked how much of the demo we can play, and I think Stellar Blade is kind of doing the same thing. I was shocked on how much demo we can play and we can discover and stuff like that. I really appreciated that they added a sort of a boss challenge mode, and the boss is actually really challenging, and you can make it really tough on yourself. If you remove Eve's armor, she basically has no shield, and yeah, if you get hit a few times, you're pretty much dead. And you know, to just quickly talk about the Discord about this game, I think Sony, and I think the folks who primarily we have to say Sony, because Sony's the publishers of this game. I think they just need to do a better job of promoting the game and marketing the game. I think a lot of people thought that this game was just like, oh, you know, they're just trying to grab people who are into, like, you know, these like not real looking anime chicks and stuff like that. These like, these voluptuous looking characters, or have voluptuous assets and stuff like that. And it's to say that yes, I think that's probably going to be a big pull of the game, is the fact that Eve is a very attractive character, but Bayonetta was a very attractive character. 2B was a very attractive character. That's like that's an obvious thing. That's not really what carried like those games. What carried those games was the story, the characters, and the gameplay. And I think this game has already some of those things going for it. It has great level design, in my opinion. The enemies are really cool and unique. They're scary and kind of haunting, but they are very intimidating as well, which I really loved. And that's one thing that I loved about Lies of P in terms of the automatons. They were really, really cool, and I just love when video games create like new and unique sort of enemies and stuff like that. And just to say too that I actually like that it's a Souls game, in my opinion. I'm kind of glad that it's not just this sort of you just go into this new location and then, or the set piece, and then you have to fight these enemies, and then you kind of just go on to the next area. I like that, like, you have to sit down, get more, recover your health and stuff like that, and then all these enemies pop up again, which I really enjoyed. In terms of gripes, I would say some of the gripes that I had were, and probably the one that annoyed me the most, there is this one little enemy that you run into at the beginning of the game, or the demo, rather. And they kind of like, they have this attack that they kind of just like poke you with their needle and stuff like that. My issue with them was, when you're surrounded by these enemies, there's no like indicator to let you know that there's an enemy behind you. And the game moves really slowly, where you probably can't turn fast enough. Now, something that I forgot that I didn't do much of in this demo was there's a quick turn function. So if you think of games like Resident Evil 4, where like Leon can turn very quickly, or like Kratos and the newer God of War games where you can do a quick turn, I totally forgot that you can do that, and that's probably a way to do it. But I hope that at some point they add like a little red indicator, just something to note, like, hey, this thing is behind you. I kind of hope that's something they just naturally add to the game. I hope that that's not something you have to upgrade, because to me that's similar to when you were playing Lies of P, and a skill you had to unlock was the quick get up skill, which in my opinion should have already been in the game, which they eventually patched, and you didn't have to like get skill points and actually add that. But yeah, sometimes it was just a little annoying when you're like trying to do a combo and stuff, and then you have these little creatures that just stop you. They literally just peck you and stop you and stuff like that. So really the other gripe I had is just I want the game just to be a little bit faster in terms of the combat. Just I want it to be a little bit faster, a little bit snappier. Maybe there's like a turbo mode or something like that. But outside of that, everything else was fantastic. And I'm really, really looking forward to this game. And I had no idea that this game was going to be so good. And if you've been on the fence about Stellar Blade, my recommendation is to try out the game. If you're a fan of Souls games, if you're a fan of like a game like Sekiro, I think this is going to be up your alley. I don't think it's as fast as Sekiro, or as snappy as Sekiro, or granted, like most Souls games, but I think if you at least really like the Souls games, for the combat, I think you're going to enjoy this game as well. And I think if you enjoyed games like Nier, and even, I wouldn't say Bayonetta, I feel like this game, it's like this game had a baby with Nier and Sekiro, and it made this. This is what this game kind of reminds me of. I think if you enjoyed both of those games, this game might be for you. So yeah, so those were my impressions on the demo. Sorry if this was a pretty long video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Once again, don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to be playing Stellar Blade, or what was your thoughts on the game? Things like that. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more of these videos and just more content from this channel. And yeah, guys, as always, my name is C4Sages, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.